sorry for the delay. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. All you do is procrastinate. Procrastinate!
There are very good reasons why call centres are based in particular areas. There's a large body of research that shows that people have quite different attitudes to different dialects, so they tend to associate different things with different dialects. And here Yorkshire dialects do particularly well, are often seen as being friendly or approachable or trustworthy, and that also extends to places like Newcastle. So in Newcastle, dialects are seen to be, people with Newcastle accents are seen to be approachable and fun. So if you're working in a call centre and somebody calls you with a dialect that you associate with those kind of characteristics, then you might be more persuaded to have a conversation with them. And obviously that's the point of a call centre call, is to make people engage you on the telephone. And also Scottish dialects as well are often perceived to be, not all of them, but certainly standard Scottish dialects, so things that are more like the Edinburgh dialect, for instance, are seen as being very attractive too.
You're not getting through yet. Give me the phone.
Oh, wait, this is him now. Hello?
This message is voice sensitive. Please speak clearly. Do you wish to speak to a GoPhone representative?
Aye, I do.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Are you experiencing a problem with GoPhone reception?
No, I'm not.
For God's sake, talk posh.
Birmingham doesn't tend to do very well, actually, and there's some evidence from work in the 1990s that that's still true. And that's partly to do with what people associate with Birmingham. So Birmingham seemed to be a big industrial city, so people associate it with sort of heavy industry or a sort of crowded population, higher crime rates, which is often typical of bigger cities. So Birmingham doesn't tend to do very well. Manchester's an interesting case because it's had, there's some evidence that it's had a bit of a shift in perception in recent years. So it was a dialect that people weren't very aware of initially, but particularly in the 1990s there was sort of a big cultural scene in Manchester, and so people have become more aware of Manchester as a city, and as a consequence the Manchester dialect as well. But on the other hand of that, we've also had TV programmes like Shameless. That's kind of led to a more negative perception of the dialect as well. So for that reason, there might be hesitancy, I guess, to base a call centre in somewhere like Manchester. Liverpool, again, suffers from the kind of poor perceptions that a city like Birmingham has. And so there are reasons, again, why perhaps the Liverpool accent is perceived in a more negative way. There's lots of cultural jokes about sort of Scousers and Scallies, and that goes along with how people associate those characteristics with the dialect as well. There was some interesting research done on the Beatles, the influence of the Beatles in their pop music, and a researcher called Peter Trudgill looked at the way in which the Beatles had used the Liverpool dialect in their singing. And what he found was that as they became more successful, they started to use more Americanised pronunciations in their dialect, which sort of hints at what some of the potential pitfalls might have been of the association with the Liverpool dialect, even in a period when Liverpool's quite a visible place culturally. I mean, the big exception to that, of course, is the Arctic Monkeys. And one of my colleagues has done quite a bit of research on them, showing that actually they use their dialect quite consistently in their work. You kind of see people talking about their lyrics in their songs, and they write in something called I dialect. And I dialect's where you try to write words the way they are sounded in the local dialect. And you see that happening with people talking about the Arctic Monkeys lyrics. And even sort of journalist articles in national papers will sort of put in bits of what they see as being Yorkshire dialect in reference to the Arctic Monkeys. And it's worked particularly well for them, I think, in terms of authenticity. So they're seen to be more authentic musicians because they're more authentic about the way they're using their language.